everyone, and welcome to Club 3, episode 65 of Rolling in the Isles, an FM20 British Isles Journeyman series with me, the United City FM. Welcome along, and welcome to the final edition of the international edition of Rolling in the Isles. Derby County, my club side, are on their summer break. We've been at the World Cup with my England side through 2030, the summer of 2030, and we've reached the final. We had a fantastic run through the competition so far, beaten some amazing sides, the likes of Holland and Argentina and Italy along the way. But today we have Brazil in the final. It's being held in Italy, that's who's hosting the tournament. So European sides usually do better in European tournaments. The South American sides not usually so much. The other thing to just remind you of is that this England setup, before my time, we're in 2030, won the World Cup in 2022. So we've had recent pedigree in this competition. So I'm hoping to try and repeat that feat today. And we've got one game today to do it in. And it's pretty much the biggest game in the footballing world. The World Cup final. So just before we talk about our own side, just to let you know that whatever happens today, Derby County are going to have a World Cup winner in their setup next season. It's either going to be me and the likes of Elliot, who's in my England side, or Ivan, who's in the Brazil setup and playing a key role for them in midfield. So we're going to have a World Cup winner amongst our number next season in Derby, whatever happens. But the team for today has had to be reshaped a little bit. We've got a couple of issues that we've had to solve. So Sancho isn't quite able to make it back in time, unfortunately, for the final. So we've had to play Saka again on that left-hand side. You can see there are a couple of players. One last game of this World Cup, we can go full bore for it. And there are a couple of players that are on the edges of their conditioning. The likes of Saka and Pavazinho and Gomez are the three really that I've included, even though their conditioning isn't top notch, just because we're at the end of tournament football and we've rotated as much as we can, and today we've got to go all out for this win. So all of that means that Sancho misses out, everybody else is fit enough to at least be on the bench, and the first team that we're putting out for today is Dewhurst in goal. We've got Godfrey and Gomez in central defence. I went for the experience today as much as I can. We've got Alexander-Arnold on the right, Chilwell on the left. We've got Rice, Pavazinho and Foden in central midfield. We've got Shenton on the right, Saka on the left and Luka up top, with pretty much everybody else on the bench. This is as good as it gets, folks. We're hoping in this series to make it to the European Champions League final as a final point in our club career, but today it's the World Cup final. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. So they've sprung a bit of a surprise on me in the sense that Ivan has been taken out of the side and they've restructured slightly. So that was a little bit of a surprise because he's been playing quite regularly. But they do have Claudio Roberto, who played for Derby County in the early parts on loan from Man City before they've sold him on for big money. So we do have a familiar face in the Brazilian lineup. A good defensive cover there at left fullback by Chilwell, and eventually Saka gets it up to Luka, who has a wild shot. And maybe that's just about releasing some of the nerves and getting, his eye in for goal. But it's Arthur again for Brazil on the free kick, and they put a header just over the top. We're going to have to watch them a great deal today. They are a very, very good side. And yeah, they're going to be stiff opposition. So let's just hope that we can maintain some discipline through this first half. I don't mind if it's a bit of a dull first half. We'll see if we can suppress the game enough to control the possession. What is the possession stats so far? It's fairly even actually so far. So we're doing okay. And again, it's Brazil with a long free kick into Arthur, but again we get it cleared and Foden's going to pick up the loose ball and we go early up to Luka. Now can he hold up the play and get some support? He does hold up the play. Here comes the cavalry, but he goes alone and he misses his shot. The goalkeeper parries out, but it's Shenton on the far side. Shenton, who's come back from his injury, missed half of this competition, follows up on that far post and has an open net because the goalkeeper's down, having saved it once already, and taps it home for a 1-0 lead at 38 minutes. what a lovely strike it was by Luca on that far side. And then it's Shenton following up on the right-hand side that has an open net to tap it into. And we go 1-0 up. And that's a fantastic opportunity to go in at half-time with a 1-0 advantage. You can see that the game is even, really. We've had a couple more shots than they have. But 50-50 possession. It's been a very even game. A little bit quiet. But as I said, that's what I wanted in the first half. And now we've got something to fight for. We've got a lead to try and hold on to. Now, immediately, what would you do in this circumstance? Would you drop defensively and try and soak up the pressure and counter-attack? Or would you continue to try and control the possession of the ball like we've been trying to do in the first half? And I think that's what I'm going to do. But we do have an issue to sort out. And that is Saka. He's on 56% conditioning all of a sudden. So I think we're going to have to take him out. We can't afford to take risks with it, really. And so we're going to, again, put Greenwood down that left-hand side. It's not ideal, but he can cut in, and he's got a great shot on him. Obviously, he's more of a striking player, so he can play that role. He's got a bit of pace. So we'll put him out there. But that's really unfortunate, isn't it, that we've, at half-time, had to make a change. Anyway, passionately, we'll go in and say... Let's go with, you've got one hand on the trophy, go out there and make sure you get both hands on it and just put the emphasis on them to really concentrate on the performance. So let's see how we get on in this second half. We're going to have to make a couple more changes, I would suggest, fairly soon, just to keep everybody healthy enough to make it to the end of the game with no problems. But you can see Brazil have got similar issues in terms of their percentage of conditioning, and we start a controlled approach from right in the goalkeeping area. The goal kick comes out, and we build ourselves down the left hand side. There's Greenwood cutting in off that wing and getting involved in play, which is nice to see. And we keep the ball very nicely. Now, you remember we did this to Holland a couple of games ago, where we managed to keep the ball for a good minute or so and pass it right the way through their setup eventually and get a really good goal from it. Now, can we do that again, or are Brazil going to get a foot in and come away with the ball? They do. They get a foot in their left fullback kind of area, and they come away with the ball. But there's a loose ball from them, and Greenwood picks it up, and here's a chance for him. Oh, and the goalkeeper comes down and narrows the angle. But good interplay between Greenwood and Luca, and that's where you really want Greenwood, off that left wing in the top of the penalty box. That's where his striking boots really come in handy. A good corner kick came to the far post. We got a header it, but it was a little bit of a loose header, really. And ultimately, the goalkeeper stopped it. But we are approaching the sort of point where we need to make a couple of substitutions, I think. What are they looking like? They're doing okay. But we are slightly less than they are in terms of our conditioning. So let's go and see if we can make a couple of key changes here. And we're going to take Alexander-Arnold off and put Reece James on down that right-hand side. And we're going to... do I want to take... I don't know if I do. I think what I'm going to do is take... decisions. Yep, I'm going to take Pavazinho out. And we are going to put... Hayes in. He's the one that comes in and plays that role. Hasn't lit the place up this tournament, Hayes particularly, but he's done okay. But Pavazinho not on a good rating today, and also shrinking in terms of his conditioning. So we need to secure that midfield. And I don't mind if there are literally no more highlights. We've got about 5 minutes left of the game, and I just want to see this out now. We didn't need to go defensive, and we just needed to keep the ball, and it looks like we've done it. And we win the World Cup. It was a bit of a dull game, sort of, but we got that 1-0 advantage at half-time, leading up to half-time, and it meant that we could sit on it and suppress it and just play the style of play that we've always tried in this competition, which is to control the possession. You can see that we just about got more possession than they did, but we got loads more shots at goal than they did, which is really encouraging, and we won the World Cup, which is fantastic. This is by far the biggest thing I've won in the cycle of FM20, absolutely, with all of the different sides that I've played the game with so far, on and off my channel. So that's amazing. We had some really good performances in there. We made the right call in Godfrey and Gomez, those real experienced 31, 32-year-old central defenders, to come in instead of Gray, who's slightly younger, and really give us a soundboard to work from. And then it was the Shenton goal that was important to us. And Luca, a real amazing find all the way through this competition. Both he and Owusu in that striking position in rotation got bags of goals, and it really propelled us to the final, didn't it? And then in the final, it just took that one effort, and it was from a Lucas shot, and then Shenton following up and poking the ball home. Congratulations to the boys. That was a really amazing performance, really, to go all the way through this competition. We won every single match that we came up with. We didn't have to take it through to penalties. We had that one extra time period, but won it in there. I think it was against Italy, was it? I can't even remember now. But fantastic result. And that's going to really boost, there we go, on top of the world is an achievement I unlocked. I've never done it before. That proves it down there that I unlocked an achievement. First time for me winning the World Cup in FM20. So that's fantastic. I don't do a lot of international management, so that's probably one of the reasons why. But let's see what the world has got to say about it. The World Rankings update. We've moved 3 places up to 2nd in the World Rankings, which is amazing. We win the World Cup. Fans celebrate the World Cup success. Where now for England Cup heroes? I tell you what's going to happen with this England group of Cup heroes is that in a little while I'm going to go in and I'm going to change every single one of my squad's names and put a Sir in front of it. So wherever we find them around the game from this point, if we find a Sir, it was because they won the World Cup with my squad for England. Which I think is a good thing to do. So Saka injured on international duty. It's a shame that that's how it ended for him. But he covered that left berth position really well when Sancho went out with a knock as well. We had Shenton with an injury for half the tournament as well. We didn't make it easy for ourselves. But in the end, we managed to do what we set out to do, which was make a really good showing, and we've won the tournament. So Gomez plays well. Really great to have him at the centre of defence with a bit of experience. And we're optimistic with the future. We've got some good young talent in and around the squad as well. England squad reacts positively, which is fantastic. World Cup review, what do they say? The biggest overachievers were Germany, apparently. Apparently they haven't done so well recently, but it's England that come away with the trophy. And they assess my performance. If they assess my performance, the FA, and they've come up with anything other than that was amazing, then I want words with them. They're thanking me for my hard work. Fantastic boost for the entire nation. And Greenwood thanks me for the contribution towards the winning of the tournament as well. Fantastic. What a brilliant game. What a brilliant day this is for England and for my own managerial career moving forward. This will open up doors eventually again. There doesn't seem to be many jobs at the moment available in the Big Six, but what if international teams sack their managers and some of those get poached for them? Maybe there's still a Big Six job in me somewhere in the near future, but if not, I'm happy building my Derby County side to go again next season. We've made a couple of additions already that I'm not going to tell you about. We're going to have to come back next episode and see who we've already bought. But we have made a couple of changes, got rid of a couple of key long-standing people in the squad and brought in some new talent that I think is going to improve us. So that's something to look out for next episode. But for this episode, all we do is we soak up the adulation and we take the applause for having won the World Cup with England. What an amazing run it was in the entire competition. I'm thrilled by it. It's amazing. But as I say, next episode, we go straight back to Derby County, beginning of a new season, unless there's any form of job changing going on between now and then. But as far as I'm aware, nothing's going to change, and we will be with Derby County at the start of the season. So we've got new players to introduce. We've got a new season to look forward to, another opportunity to try and push for some silverware, and we get a Champions League campaign as well. So come and join me for next episode and see how we get on with that. But today, we won the World Cup. That's fantastic. Brilliant achievement. I'm delighted by it. Anyway, thanks for joining me for the entire international run of Rolling in the Isles. It was something a bit different for a couple of games, which is, I think, was really fun and interesting. But now we go back to Derby County. So thanks for joining me today. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Keep up to date with the videos that I release and join my United City community. The more the merrier. If you enjoyed this particular episode or the entire run of the international edition of Rolling in the Isles, click that like button for me. It helps me get seen by lots and lots of other people. Until next time, though, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.